till I can't no more.
I got the horses in the bag. Horse stock is a tag.
Hi everyone, and welcome to Protocol 36. Today's video, we'll be talking about why Spider-Man Miles Morales needs full damage. As you remember in the first game, we didn't really have full damage in the game, and the reason why was because Brian and Todd explained that since we were playing a Spider-Man who was 8 years into his career, he wanted us to feel just as good as the Spider-Man would be with 8 years under his belt. So given the reasoning, it kind of makes sense. However, at the same time, it kind of let a lot of people down since a lot of people asked for it. Before we begin, I really appreciate if you subscribe, as I'll be covering Spider-Man Miles Morales before and after its release. So if you want some quality and consistent content, be sure to subscribe. And if there's any point where you enjoy the video, I would really appreciate it if you give it a thumbs up, as it would help out the channel a lot. Thank you. Now, since in the first game, Insomniac's plan was to make sure that we felt pretty much professionals when we were playing the game, and we were really good with the web swinging and made the web swinging feel as natural as possible, as given the context of the story, Insomniac wanted to feel what this Spider-Man felt, as he's been Spider-Man for 8 years and he pretty much learned all of the mistakes that he's learned over the years, and also pretty much has mastered his powers, as Insomniac described him being pretty much at his prime at this stage. But since we have Miles, who's pretty much been Spider-Man for less than a year, it would make a lot of sense, going by Insomniac's logic, to have that game have full damage. And the reason why is because of the fact that how inexperienced he is. He's still learning, he's still growing. Yes, Peter has trained him well, as we can see in the gameplay, how smoothly he fires and able to pretty much use his powers, but at the same time, he is learning, he's not perfect. Therefore, it would make a lot of sense to have full damage applied for Miles. A lot of people wanted it in the first game, and it would make a lot of sense if Insomniac listens to that and puts that in Spider-Man Miles Morales for a character who's pretty much really inexperienced. And going by Insomniac's logic, it would make a lot of sense. One of the reasons why people want full damage so much is because of the fact that if we had full damage, it would pretty much increase the risk. So us as the player, we want to be good at web swinging as quickly as possible in order to not fall to our deaths, basically. And to have that, it will also be a little realistic, as even though Spider-Man is superhuman and very, very durable, he's not Superman. So he can get really hurt when he's falling from a really, really high place. So to apply that in a game, it would not only want to challenge us as the player more, but also be really fun, trying to up the stakes and pretty much make us feel like Spider-Man in a sense. Even though for Peter Parker, he was experienced, Miles Morales isn't. So what if he does fall down and us as the player messes up? So it would be something I would like Insomniac to consider as a fan. And also the fact that Insomniac always listens to us as fans, as they are fans themselves. I think a lot of people would feel really appreciate the fact that they would add a feature, even though to many people it might be small, but for a lot of us it's pretty much a big deal. Not to mention the fact that for a lot of us, including myself, it's pretty fun to just climb on top of a tall building, for example Empire State Building, and to just fall down. A lot of us have done it in the Ultimate Spider-Man video game and also the Spider-Man 2 movie tie-in game, so why not in the next gen console? A lot of fun and also pretty funny at the same time. However, what about you guys? Do you want full damage in Spider-Man Miles Morales, or do you not? Let me know in the comments down below. Follow me on Instagram and Twitter. If you enjoyed this video, please like. I want more, subscribe. To begin, Protocol 36.